Hi, hello. Today I want to show you how to do a realistic shadow of an object in Photoshop. So what I mean by this is when you want to do a shadow, see the object is in 3D space, right? This is the perspective of the object. The light is coming from this direction. Wait, let me explain better to you. Okay. See, light is coming from this direction, right? Because you see the reflection here and shadow on this side. Okay, so we have to follow this. This is our object, this is our shadow, this is our highlight, right? So now currently I have two layers. One is white, so this is just white background layer, right? And then this is our subject. Means the object now that we have to do shadow. Okay, so I have the few rules that we have to follow every time we are trying to do a realistic shadow of or something like that. First thing is, shadow of any object will always follow the source of light. What I mean by this is you have to identify any picture, if it's a person or if it's an object or anything you want to make a shadow of. You have to identify where is the light coming from. Is it in the center, or is it coming from the back, or is it coming from this side, or is it coming from this side? In this instance, see the shadow is here, right? So this is our shadow position, and this is the reflection, this is the highlight area. So that means the light is coming from this side and the shadow will be here. So first you have to identify, and then to make a shadow, the light is coming from this side, so the shadow will be always will be on the opposite side. Let's say you have two light sources, right? You have two lights, one is coming from this side, the other one is coming from this side, right? So the shadow one will be here and the other one will be here. So shadow will always be opposite of the light source. So if there are two light sources, there will be two shadows. Okay, similarly like this, if you have three light sources, the shadow will be three different shadows. They will blend in each other together, but you will still be able to identify there are three different shadows on each side, on each opposite side of the light, right? Okay, so the second thing is, shadow is never just black in color. It's supposed to reflect the color of the object on the surface is on. So the meaning is, wait, let me undo all that. Okay, what I mean by this is, you see there is a red color, right? And there is the surface is white. So the shadow is actually supposed to reflect the color of the object in the surface. Okay, it has to blend the reflect the color in the surface, then only it will look real. Otherwise it will never look real. The shadow is never just a solid black color. I know I do this also sometime, but is just the lazy way to do shadow. See, this will never look real. It will look good, but it will not look real, never. So this is just the quick and dirty way to do a shadow in just black color. Actually, if you want to do a realistic, the shadow is never black color. Okay, so other thing is, shadow must be in few different layers with different densities to give it a realistic look. What I mean by this is, let's say I do new layer, right? Okay, and then I choose the dark color, give it more darker a bit. Okay, so if I just do like this, it may look good from far, but it will never look real. This will never look real because it's just one layer. Okay, so the shadow is actually never in one intensity. What I mean by this is, when the light is coming from this side, the closer part will be darker, and as it goes away from the object, it will be lighter, and then it will be more lighter, like that. So you have, actually you can do in single layer also, but the proper way is you have to do in different layers, different few layers, maybe 4 or 5 layers, so that you have the ability to change the opacity later. If you want to adjust later, if all your work is in one layer, you cannot just simply change the opacity of each intensity, right? So you have to do in different layers, then only it will look good and realistic. Okay, so I just delete this and delete this so we can start fresh. Okay. Okay, one more thing I want to go through. There's an option for drop shadow. You see in the layer style, right? There is an option for drop shadow, but this is not very useful in this instance. First of all, the drop shadow doesn't give me an option to do it in perspective. Okay, so drop shadow will always be from the top. So let's say I just give it opacity. See, it doesn't follow. If I just change the angle also, it will never look real. It doesn't look real because it's not following the perspective of the object. See, object is in 3D space, right? But the our shadow is from the top view, so it doesn't look very real. Some cases it works, but usually it doesn't work, especially if you want to do something realistic, right? So that's why I suggest you to learn the proper manual proper way how to do this is not the best solution. Okay. Okay, so now we are finally going to start with the shadow. Okay, so first you have to select the darkest color of the object. See, this is my object and this is the darkest color. I will select this. I have to increase the darkness. It's still the same color, but it's more darker now. Okay. Okay, so now I have my first layer. I will group this layer and call this group shadow. Okay, so now this is my first layer. Okay, so now I have to decrease the flow. Normally it's on 100%, and you have to lower it maybe around 60%, right? Okay, so then just take the small brush and try to follow the light source and the shadow direction, right? So you have to use the brush tool and just draw it manually. Okay, for now this looks good, so I will just change the blend mode to multiply and then decrease the opacity a bit, just a bit. Okay, so then I will make one new layer and then I will make the brush bigger a bit, and the flow I will decrease also, decrease the flow a bit, because this first layer is the closest to the object, right? So it will be most darker intensity layer, right? So the second one I am decreasing the flow because I want it to lighter a bit, right? So that's the whole idea. As you go further away from the object, the shadow will be lighter, lighter and more lighter. Alright, so this one I will draw from here. See, the light is coming from this side, right? So this part has to be lighter, so our shadow has to move on more to this side. Okay, now I will decrease the opacity because I want to make it lighter a bit, right? Alright, and then I will do one more layer, same concept. The one will be much lighter. Okay, so you see it's already looking much better. Now I will just decrease the opacity a bit more, this one also a bit more. and then I think this one is not blending nicely, so we have to give it a little blur, I think. Okay, it's better. Make it multiply, this one also multiply. Alright. Okay, so other thing is I will make a new layer now and take the red color and do the same thing. I will decrease the flow a bit more, and I just want the reddish shade overall, right? But I don't want too much, so I will just decrease it. See, when you have different layers, you can adjust the opacity as you think it maybe doesn't look real or something. You can always go back and adjust all of them. Okay. Okay, so just adjust where you think is too much or you think is too less. Okay, so now there is a weird part here that is much lighter than it should be. Actually, when the object is reflecting on a lighter surface like this, there should be a white reflection, but not this much, so we have to remove this. Okay, so what I want to show you now is a process called clipping mask. What is clipping mask is, let me choose a different color. Alright, let's say I make a new layer, right, and I want to just draw. Right, but you see is on the on all of the layers. What if I just want to restrict this blue color on the apple itself only, just on the object? I don't want it on the white color. What I have to do is I have to right click on this layer. See, this is the blue layer just now I draw. You right click this and in create clipping mask. What the clipping mask will do, you see it drops the arrow on this layer, which means it is showing us that this layer is only visible where this layer is visible. So now you notice the blue color is only on our apple, it's not going on the white area. Okay, so let me delete this layer now. Okay, and I will make new layer. Same thing, I will create clipping mask. Okay, and now I will take darker color from here and I will just paint over this slowly. Let me just decrease the flow. Okay, and I will give it multiply and just decrease the opacity a bit. See, in this area is too much, right? So I will just make a layer mask and remove it from this area. Alright, so see, this is how you do a realistic shadow. If you think it's a bit much, you can always decrease the opacity of it. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Let me give a blur to this as well. Alright. Okay, so this is our shadow is finally done. So this is the way you're supposed to do realistic shadows in Photoshop. Any object you see, you have to identify the direction of the light, and your shadow will always be on the opposite side of your light source. Okay, thank you.